You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. We need more dogs.
And welcome back to the latest and greatest episode of the Shaving Points podcast. My name is Jade May, joined as always by my co-host Quentin Crisco.
Let's get to those Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings, very good team last year. Maybe should have signed Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if they like JJ McCarthy.
Someone on this podcast, not pointing fingers, thought they were going to be like number one pick territory last year.
Was that not me?
No, that was me.
I figured so. Yeah.
And I'm
Sam
still
Darnold.
amazed. I'm still kind of amazed they weren't.
I told you, Sam Darnold.
It's not even Sam Darnold as much as like
Kevin O'Connell.
it's the Brian Flores. What he did with his defense was incredible.
And, I mean, Kevin O'Connell just keeps pumping out good. I mean, they just win under Kevin O'Connell.
Good head coach, man. Good
That's all
coaching
they do.
all around. That whole staff is just, they are turning into one of the better run organizations in the NFL.
And they have all the
GM
rings to
and-
prove it.
Yeah, ever since they sold the team way back from, I think it was like Red McCombs owned it. Once they got that University of Texas blood out of there, they started to do stuff very efficiently.
Yeah, and the good thing about being a Minnesota Viking fan is that your baseball team and basketball team and hockey team always also win championships every year.
That they do.
It's the city of champions, some people call it.
City of Champions, Minneapolis, Minnesota,
St. Paul.
Twin Cities.
Yeah, all they do is win, win, win. No, I think it's the longest streak in all of the four major sports without a championship, and it's not even close, I believe.
Yeah, I believe you're right on that. It's
I know
rough.
I'm right. I just don't know how long it is.
Hey, they had the Mighty Ducks though.
Did they?
Yeah,
Coached by Charlie
Gordon
Sheen's brother.
Bombay.
Charlie Sheen's brother. little known fact.
Emilio
Uh,
Estevez.
That's why it makes sense that he had to coach them after getting a DWI as part of community service.
It's all coming together.
When you find out he's Charlie Sheen's brother, it makes a lot more sense.
It really does. But let's get into the football.
All right.
As much as I can talk about Mighty Ducks all night.
All right. Looking at this Minnesota Vikings team, strength, absolutely. Skill positions.
Yeah, I mean, wide receiver and pass catchers. Skill positions, I agree. So you have Aaron Jones at running back, too. Like, it's just, they're loaded up. The entire offense is pretty loaded up. I really like their O-line.
O-line's really good. So what do you think about year two, JJ McCarthy, completely injured year one? Some mixed reports coming out of OTAs, whether or not the coaching staff is really bought in. Apparently there's some leakage going around that some of the people in the organization wanted Aaron Rodgers. Some of the people didn't. Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to Minnesota.
He just wants to be like Brett Favre.
Oh, how great of a story would that have been?
But, I mean, with McCarthy, like, I don't know. The guy's got a ton of raw talent. You know, like, we knew that coming out of Michigan. He didn't get the chance to show it a lot at Michigan because they ran the ball so much. Like, he was practically like playing for a military academy, the amount that they ran the ball versus threw. But he did show the flashes of that wild arm talent of he's quick. He's got enough speed to be a threat with his legs. And to be honest with you, after doubting that Josh Dobbs could come in and do anything, after doubting that Sam Darnold could come in and do anything, I'm done doubting Kevin O'Connell until he gives me a reason to doubt him.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I thought I was big on the JJ McCarthy train last year. I don't know if you recall, but I was pretty stoked for him. I said he might be the best rookie in this class this year. And then I'm pretty sure a week later he tore his ACL.
Yeah, he cursed him. He put the hex on him.
Y'all can thank me, Minnesota. But I mean, you got Sam Darnold, $100 million, so you have to be proud of that achievement.
Yeah, that's the toughest part for McCarthy in my mind. That he is replacing 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns. Like that is a tall.
By Sam Darnold.
Yeah, like
which a lot of people didn't have faith in, which makes it even harder because they're like, well, if Sam Darnold do it, imagine what this guy can do.
Yeah, right. Like that is real pressure, I think, because I still don't fully buy that Sam Darnold is that good. I
Yeah,
just think
and
that the team
if
setup here is really good.
if
So he has to produce some really good numbers to live up to it.
yeah, for example, if that was Kirk Cousins that just did that walked through the door, who they had for what 8 years, people might be like, "Oh, okay, well, let's give him some time." I mean, Kirk Cousins, proven veteran, top 15 quarterback in the league, been doing it a long time. If he's not that this year, we'll be okay. But the fact that it was Sam Darnold, I think puts tremendous amounts of pressure on him.
It really does. I mean, you had a fully healthy season from Justin Jefferson, which, maybe you get another. It's not like he's had wild injury issues in his career. He really only has the 1 year where he missed games, but like, I don't know. It's always a question when you have a guy who is that important to your offense. If you miss him for a few games, what will that do to your offense?
Yeah, absolutely. But opposite of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, well, I've always liked a lot. You've never been as high on. I think
I,
he is developed into a fine top end wide receiver too.
like I say, I resent the idea that you say I was never that high on. I had questions. I liked him. I had questions. But in
You didn't
Minnesota,
like him.
I don't think I'll ever get the answer to those questions. He's playing across from Justin Jefferson. Like, I
He
mean,
answers the questions that need to be answered. Can he be a compliment to Justin Jefferson?
yeah. And my questions for him
Box
in
checked.
that draft were, can he be a number one? Right. So like it's a different question when he's playing with Justin Jefferson.
We'll have to go back and review the tapes.
Oh, you can go review the tape. I said I
I don't
like
think
his
that's what
tape.
you said.
I have questions about his speed to be able to threaten the top of defenses.
Okay. Well,
And when you
while
have
we're on the topic,
bubble coverage over Jefferson all the time, he
when we're
doesn't
on the
really need
topic
that.
of guys that you just absolutely do not like, TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, I don't like TJ Hawkinson.
Let's see.
I don't like TJ Hawk. I'll admit it when I straight up don't like a guy. I was conflicted on Jordan Addison. I'm just not a big fan of TJ Hawkinson's game. I'm just not.
You don't like a guy that goes out there and big bodies the defense and scores touchdowns and gets a lot of yards. And
I just think he's been overrated his whole career. He's a fine tight end. He's solid. Like he's
at what point do you have to keep producing to no longer like, is LeBron still overrated 30 years in?
no,
Or
but
is he
TJ
properly
Hawkinson
rated?
ain't LeBron.
No, but it's what, we're 6 years into his career?
And the Detroit Lions said, "Oh, well, we've had enough of you. We'll trade you."
And he's had good success at
He has.
Minnesota as well.
I never said I didn't say he's a bad player. I said I don't like him. There's a difference there.
I mean, I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like I don't like him personally or like as a person. I don't know him as a person, but
I love Aaron Rodgers as
I
a
don't
person.
think his game is that difference making to an offense, aside from the fact that he's good enough as a route runner and a blocker to keep you questioning. Like that is really what his game is rooted in, which I just think that's a replaceable tight end in my mind. Not fully replaceable. Like he's above that, but like I don't know. He's not in that top tier tight ends, and he's not in the average tier. He's just in the middle. And I struggle with those players.
He's replaceable if you have Kevin O'Connell or Ben Johnson calling the plays.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, do you really want to pay that guy? And they did, and he's producing. So like, it doesn't matter as long as he keeps producing.
Okay. So we've established that you hate two of their targets. What are your thoughts on Aaron Jones?
Love Aaron Jones.
Love Aaron Jones.
I am skeptical.
I had this argument last year.
He will continue to stay healthy, but like when he's on the field, he's a dog. He is such a good player. He has such incredible vision, and he still had plenty of bursts last year to capitalize on that vision.
Yeah, no, that's the exact argument I made last year when we were talking Packers about signing the Raiders running back. Yeah, that I was fine with Aaron Jones and going to spend the money on Josh Jacobs. It makes sense. And Aaron Jones went out and balled out this past year. So a lot to like about the offense. I mean, this is clearly just comes down to JJ McCarthy, don't you think?
JJ McCarthy and health. I mean, I have real questions about their depth.
Health, yeah. But I mean, you can say that about any team.
Not any team though. Like I have real depth questions here. Like there are some teams
where
Justin
Jefferson's arguably like a top 8 player in the league. I mean, you take off the best player on any team, and
Usually when I'm talking depth, it's O-line. That's really
yeah,
what matters to me more than anything. Like I don't like Rondale Moore is good enough depth at wide receiver that I'm like, okay, like if Kevin O'Connell's going to figure that out, and I think Kevin O'Connell is a good enough play designer, play caller, offensive coach that he will be able to figure some stuff out if they lose Jefferson to be able to stay in the hunt. But on the O line, I mean, actually, I don't know. Now that I'm looking at like Justin School and Blake Brandel are fine depth. It's really just the two rookies that I get worried about when you have two primary backups who are UDFAs, rookie UDFAs like that. That scares me. But having Justin School and Blake Brandel probably evens that out. So I'm probably overstating that, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, I like this Minnesota. I mean, we've kind of established so far in this all these previews. I mean, having O-line depth is a luxury, not a
Yeah, but if you're a playoff team
not
who wants to be a contender, you need it, right? Unless you got Pat Mahomes.
unless you got Pat Mahomes. Is JJ McCarthy Pat Mahomes?
We'll find out, brother.
Questions to be answered.
I mean, on this O line though, like I think Christian Darrisaw is an absolute stud. I like Donovan Jackson in the draft this past year. I think he gives you guard depth and he provides some tackle depth too, because I think that he could kick to tackle in a pinch and fill in for you. He has super long arms. I don't think he's a difference maker as a blocker, but I think he's just going to be a good pro for a really long time. And then I liked their addition of Will Fries. I forget which way you pronounce it, but I liked that addition a lot. I know people have given it a lot of flack, saying that it was limited. Like he only played 5 games last year, and that was the only good tape he had. Brandon Thorne was out here talking about this guy's tape 2 seasons ago as being really impressive, and I went back and watched it. I thought it was pretty good 2 seasons ago too, even though the PFF grades weren't as high up. I think Will Fries is a quality addition to this O-line, and Brian O'Neill keeps being a good pro. Ryan Kelly's the main question is who plays center if he goes down, because history tells us he will go down at some point. And how will that impact who's making the line calls?
Throw Juergens out there. There's another Juergens that's pretty good at center. Maybe he can figure it out.
Yeah, maybe Michael. I think he might be related to Cam.
One can only hope.
Yeah, but let's look at the defense. And frankly, I feel pretty similar to how I did last year about this defense. But after Brian Flores basically bitch slapped me last year, metaphorically, I guess, I'm skeptical to say it again.
Yeah, so they bring in Jonathan Allen. Didn't have a great season last year, but it was fine. I mean, there's just so many like established NFL players on this defense. Just a lot of good veterans that are probably well coached, and there's nobody that jumps off the page immediately that's like, oh, this is who we need to take over a game in the fourth quarter. But there's nobody you're going to look at that's also like, oh, this person's a liability in the fourth quarter either.
You need Greenard to keep playing like he has, and Andrew Van Ginkel to keep like just being dominant in a Brian Flores defense. Like Andrew Van Ginkel might be the one player in the NFL. If I had to choose one player to pair with one defensive coordinator, it's probably Andrew Van Ginkel with Brian Flores, because every time they're together, he just balls out.
And he makes a lot of money under Brian Flores.
Yeah. There's a reason why he wants to play for
Brian Flores.
Like Andrew Van Ginkel is like, he's magic in this defense. He just finds the football. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it for a player who I think is pretty ordinary physically. That just like his football IQ just wins out in this scheme over and over and over.
Yep. And Harrison Smith's 40 years old now? Still balling out.
He keeps doing it. Like,
how old is Harrison Smith? Somebody got mad at me a couple of weeks ago for saying somebody was old. They're like, he's only 28. And I was like, well, 28 for a DB might as well be 45.
Harrison Smith is 36.
Born
in 1989.
He's older than me.
I know, me too. That's rare nowadays. I couldn't play safety.
Yeah, I couldn't do it when I was 26. I couldn't
play safety at the high school level. Probably not even the Pop Warner level.
I played safety at Pop Warner. Just a lot of experience on this defense and coached by a hell of a defensive coordinator.
They're just gonna muck it up. They're gonna make it dirty. I have more depth question on the defense than the offense, and like I said, my offensive concerns are probably overblown. But defensive, I think they're pretty real. Like I look at this D line rotation, and I'm like, Dallas Turner got to be a dude. I look at the cornerback room, and I'm like, Jeff Okudah, Dwight McGlothern,
Jeff Okudah, top 5 pick.
Yeah, top 5 pick. Embry Thomas, like, has some NFL experience, and starting at Isaiah Rodgers and Mekhi Blackman, who still have stuff to prove in this league. Like, I'm skeptical, but at the same time, Brian Flores always seems to find a way. So, like, I can't be overly skeptical as long as they have Brian Flores.
Yeah, and like you talk about depth, and when I think about depth, I think about almost like you look at WAR in baseball, like wins above replacement. It's like how many of these guys on defense are so much better than the people backing them up? I'm not sure if any of these are a huge gap between them.
Right.
Granted, you don't want to lose everybody, but I mean, how much production are you really losing if somebody goes down and gets replaced by one of these other guys? Which, in that aspect, I think they do have depth.
That's just, in my experience for my team, when I feel that way about my team, it tends to go really badly. But the Bears are also an awfully run organization, and the Vikings are a really well-run organization, so their standards are probably higher. Like, I mean, that's the only way I can explain it, I guess.
Yeah,
the last guy on the defense
mentioned
difference is probably Josh Metellus, who's just kind of a Swiss Army knife for him. I think there's some contract negotiations, disputes going on right now with him, but I think he's really valuable at what this defense does.
Absolutely. All right, so looking at this team going forward, win total of 8.5. What? How many? They won what? 12 games last year?
14
and 3.
11-5-1 against the spread, because they were, I want to say their win total last year was like 6.5 or 7.5. Like,
and they were underdogs almost every game, it felt like.
The first half of the year, absolutely, they were.
So we have a minus 135 at over 8.5, plus 115 under 8.5. Playoffs at basically even money. Division at 3-1. Super Bowl at 22-1.
I mean, I'll take plus money on making the playoffs. I think there's a very real chance 3 teams come out of the NFC North.
Yeah, I could see 3 teams coming out of this division. I think it's going to be 2. But if there is a 3rd team, I think it can absolutely be the Minnesota Vikings.
Side note, this is the first division we've seen where 3 teams have just been like really good for 5 years. Vikings 49-35 over the last 5 years. Lions 44-39 over the last 5 years.
And
Packers
2 of those
54-30 over the last 5 years. And
they're
getting their wins over the Bears.
two of those years by the Lions were terrible.
Yeah, I know.
They've only been good the past 3 years.
It's like an anomaly in the numbers right now. Like the NFC North just has some wild numbers.
I think Minnesota might be the most forgotten team in this division when you think about teams that could make a run. Think about teams that are good. Because what was it, 2-3 years ago when they won 13 games with Kirk Cousins? Or they were like, they 11-0 at one point, 10-0. I felt like they just couldn't fucking lose. And then they finally just got the doors blown off of them, and then ended up going 11-5 or whatever it was. I mean, it just seems like year after year they find ways to win. They're in it at the end of the year, and then they choke in the playoffs. And hopefully, JJ McCarthy is the savior to the playoff non-success.
Yeah,
and if he's not, maybe you'll be bad enough to go get you another quarterback.
Just a really well-run organization. Like their standards are really high there, and it comes through the tape.